Hello and welcome, beautiful sacred souls. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Dene. Those of you that do, of course, welcome back and thank you for returning. Also, welcome to anyone that is a new subscriber or first time viewer. You are very welcome here. So, I am guided today with my channel. I've been guided to use in my hands this Lemurian laser crystal and the Tibetan channel crystal. These are both master crystals, and I did an activation on my other site with the Lemurian crystal. I don't know when it will view. This will probably view before that. So you might get an activation from that if you're on my other site, the Sacred Souls Rising, I think it is, something like that. So let's see what they want to bring me today with these crystals they asked me to bring. I don't typically hold a crystal, but they have asked me to do that today. So let's see what they want to bring in. Some of the information that they have brought to me, they have talked about the Garden of Eden in a couple of my channelings, and they say that the Garden of Eden is not in a biblical sense. The Garden of Eden is in a reflection of paradise, or what was not manifested, but what was the plan to manifest was the Garden of Eden, which is a very similar energy to Venus or Venusian energy that exists on planet Venus. And that is what the plan was for Earth, and still is, to rise us into that type of frequency where we would sit more in the Venusian energy, which is the energy of love, living from the heart, living through the heart. And that is what is and has been being manifested and co-created here. So we are all part and parcel of the co-creation of this manifestation on the pathway to create a similar loving environment as to what is on Venus, with the same type of plant life, the planet itself. I mean, it is Venus, Earth is Gaia, Mother Gaia, but they are, both of them being planets, are both creation. Okay. So they are saying that that is an ascension or a rising and upgrading, an evolution, so to speak, of the energy of Gaia to move up into the frequency that exists upon Venus. And anyone that works within the spiritual community is aware that a lot of the ascended masters are upon Venus, because Venus is the frequency in which they vibrate. So that is what we are looking for here on Earth. And the new energy that has been tapped into, that they talked about, I don't know, probably a month, or I don't know, time to me gets away from me. But the new energy that they talked about that had been tapped into is that frequency of energy, that Venusian energy, which is why they said it was new for Earth, but it is not a new, it is an ancient energy. It is an ancient energy, but it is new for Earth, for our time here. Okay? We were very, very close to that in the times of Atlantis and Lemuria, which makes sense why they've got me holding these particular crystals, to be able to tap into the keys that are sitting within these crystals, to be able to tap into the memory of that, the manifestation of that dwells within the crystals, that were coded within these crystals when those worlds were destroyed and held within the crystals for a time when they would come back into our awareness. Now, I've had these crystals with me for probably 8 years, I guess, and I've sat with them many times. And I just did an activation with the crystals that you'll see in a couple of weeks on my other site. Of course, I'm activated as I do it immediately and hold on to those codes. And I have had these with me a long time. And like I say, when I did that activation, I felt it. I began to sweat, like I felt, activity going down my spine, like a total connection of some form of DNA that was reconnecting. Is what I want to say. It's not it's a reconnection. Okay, that's what they're telling me. It's a reconnection of energy to ancestral wisdom that existed during that time and that exists upon other planets. Okay. Why is it, Spirit, that we have these that exist within other planets, and yet, like it exists on Venus, that energy is there? So why can't we just, call that energy down here and have those souls leave that are not in alignment with it and bring that energy in? If we are all that at a soul level, why must we go through these trials that are here upon the earth in order to rise to it? So if someone of the ascended masters or divine beings of unconditional love and light could answer that for me, I would be really appreciative of it. Okay, it has to do with the density that exists upon planet Earth. Energy cannot simply be altered all at once. It would create a catastrophic event, as happened within the times of Lemuria when that was attempted. It must be a gradual shift or change within the energy. You have witnessed volcanoes, even within this time upon the earth, as Gaia is shifting and changing, transforming, and the energies are being transmuted into a higher frequency. There has been storms, there have been volcanoes, there have been earthquakes, floods, there have been many disasters as the energy shifts. And this is happening due to the speed in which it is currently shifting. If that was sped up even more to bring that energy, to bring that density, bringing the light density within it, that frequency within Gaia and within all those that exist on this planet, there would be catastrophic events at a much higher degree. There would be similar to what you see happening on the sun with the explosions on the sun would be happening upon the earth. And of course, with that happening upon the earth, life would be in jeopardy. The planet would become uninhabitable because of it shifting far too quickly. In that way, we are bringing down energy upon the planet in a rate that is much slower to transform and transmute, in order to do it in a fashion to where the wildlife, the trees, the elementals, all of these things that exist here are safe and will continue to inhabit the planet. The rate in which Gaia is changing is reflected within the different storms that you are seeing, the fires, the floods, all of these things that are witnessed upon Earth at this time. For this is a great time of change where we will be shifting within the energy. However, this is not an immediate shift. And if it was an immediate shift, the earth would be destroyed and all life upon it. It would be put back into a cocoon, so to speak, as it was within the Ice Age and other times where it needed to have a pause in order for it to recalibrate, to rebirth itself. During this transformation, it was chosen for it to be a slower process in the hopes that there would not be the destruction that was witnessed in the past. However, in saying this, there are those that are impatient. There are those that wish to be more controlling and wish to move at a higher rate of ascension. And those souls may find that they are leaving Earth much more quickly than the souls that are living within the frequency that they have been in for some time. That doesn't make sense to me, Spirit. That doesn't make sense to me. Why is that? Why is that? The forcefulness of feeling the need to shift Earth at a rate that is uncomfortable for her is not acceptable. Gaia must be considered, as she must remain fully intact in order for life to sustain itself upon this planet once it has shifted. To become the Garden of Eden or another Venus, we must be gentle, we must be soft. And that gentleness and softness must be learned through experience. And currently, you are all experiencing these emotions and witnessing the chaos that ensues when we do not consider others or when we do not consider ourselves. When we do not come from a space of pure love that is all encompassing and encompasses ourself as well as all mankind. This is something that has been forgotten and must be remembered in order to flourish within the planet. I'm not sure that this makes sense to me, Spirit. I'm not sure that you have answered my question to my satisfaction. Do you have anything else to add to that? They said, your satisfaction is not our concern. We simply are here to bring the truth, to speak the truth. You are here as a messenger of the divine, and it is your choice to believe or not to believe. It is always your choice. Regardless if you are channeling information, it does not mean that that is your truth. It simply means that you are the interpreter. You are the messenger. it may not always resonate with you at the time of the channel. However, upon reflection, you may find that you have more understanding as your body absorbs the information. We are simply here to bring you the information. We are not here to judge which direction you decide to take. However, there are consequences for certain behaviors, for certain misbehaviors. There are consequences for what you do within your lifetime. And that cannot be avoided. This is the lesson that is being learned. The lesson of oneness. That all is a reflection of the self. And what you do to others, you do to yourself. And what you do to yourself, you inflict upon others. This is the lesson. This is the information for you to understand. And when it is understood, then you will ascend. I do understand that we are all one, and that everything that is being experienced here is myself in different aspects. You may believe that you understand, and you may understand the concept of this. However, it is not being lived in its entirety. When you embody this, when you fully understand the consequences as well as the benefits that go along with this, and that you have the ability to manifest your own life by your own thoughts, you will shift. There will not be a reaching for anything, for you will have arrived. You will have no need to open a door or to step through or to do any of those things. You will just be there. You will be that. We understand that this concept can be very difficult because many understand the within their mind that all is one and one is all. However, there is some form of doubt within that statement for each one of you that is tuning into this transmission today. And it is a difficult concept for you to understand when you are in your human avatar, for you do not look the same. Each of you have a different body type. You have different beliefs. You have been in different families. You have different DNA. Many, many differences. The similarity that you all have is energy, pure energy. And that is your connection. Pure energy. The energy of thought. The energy of love. The energy that is unseen but manifests within the world. yes, it is difficult to totally embody this concept. You are very close. And when you arrive, you will simply be that. And until that moment, continue on your path, making choices that are in alignment with your heart center, with what you love. And before you know it, you will be there. You will be that. Thank you for calling on us to answer your questions and to bring forward the wisdom. Okay, that was White Dragon. And I'm not sure if I understand fully the concept of everything that they brought. I understand that we are all one, but apparently we are not totally embodying that because we are still treating others as others. We don't treat them as we would treat ourselves, simply because they are talking about every human being on this planet. And there are a lot of human beings that we see that we find are very undesirable. So we do not want to imagine that we are that, because we believe that we are above that and we have worked to be above that. And we have in this aspect of ourselves. Within this lesson, we have. However, there are many, many lessons for us to come together within our wholeness. And they are bringing to me the 12 levels of each stage. And there are many, they're saying many levels of 12. Okay. And that's, I find that really, really fascinating, because I talk about the color rays of wisdom, and it kind of comes in 12, and they said like um, 12 tribes of 12, and it's 144, which is the chosen, and that kind of thing, and that's the oversoul. And so there's so much to do with that, with the multiples of 12 as well, bringing that in. So as we look at what we might consider, or we might call lower levels, of ourself, it is simply a denseness that we are sitting in. It is a denseness of energy where we are sitting in some form of shame or sadness or blame, that kind of energy that we have not yet healed. It is because we are sitting in a wounding that we are having that life. Okay, because we are not healed within that life. So that shadow, then, that shadow aspect of what we believe ourselves to be, is what is magnetized towards us. Okay, and that shadow grows, and that is what we see as denseness in energy, with a lot of people that get stuck in that circular trap, addictions, all of those things. And there's many addictions in the world. It's not just drugs. I mean, that's part of it. Drugs, alcohol, food, work, sex, beauty. There's all kinds of addictions that we get caught in. Okay, and they're wanting me to bring to the forefront what I said, beauty. And what they're saying is, those that get caught up so much in how they look, that they are so much caught up in that shadow, that they go for surgeries and doing all those other things, but they don't work on the inside. And beauty really does come from within. And when you work on your heart, and your heart begins to shine, that light shines through you. And when it shines from the inside, it completely lights you up. And you become this beacon, and your skin becomes radiant, because that is the light. And that's why when you're young, you have this radiant look, because your light is much more pure than when you begin to live. When you begin to live, there's, that, you know, sprinkles of dirt that keep getting thrown on top of it and dimming it a little bit so you don't have that glow within your skin anymore. But as you're young, you do. And as you begin to come back into your light and your ascension, and you begin to vibrate at that level, you may notice that your skin begins to radiate as well. You may see that radiation within your own skin. Okay, so that is what they are saying for today, you guys. Thank you for dropping in and listening to the transmission today. And if this resonates with you in any way, please click the like, the subscribe, leave me a comment. I love to hear about your journey. I love to hear about how you're doing. What is your struggle that you are having difficulty moving through that shadow? What is your wounding that you have been having a difficult time in healing that is holding you back within your ascension journey? What triggers you? Because when something triggers us, it is a wounding. So whatever it is that upsets you, we can look at it not in the aspect of good or bad, right? Just that it does. All right, beautiful souls, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being here and co-creating this channel with me. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I welcome you. I welcome you here. I welcome your thoughts and your comments. I'm always interested in listening to what you have to say. And until next time, please remember, always let love be your guide.